All right, everybody. Today we're going to talk about Bond Arms, firearms manufacturer company out of Texas. Today we're going to talk about the Grizzly. I'm going to call it the series that they're making or model the Grizzly. So what this is a special edition model of one of their Derringer sets that they make. So we're going to go ahead today and unbox this, go over what's in the box, go over what it comes with, a little breakdown of the gun, and just follow through and see what we got here. So first things first, comes in a simple cardboard box. Not a lot to it, not a hard plastic case, not a lockbox, anything like that. It's, of course, got their information on the back of it. Made in America, that's good. Didn't even know, wasn't sure if they were imported through Texas or made in Texas. Of course, the serial number information, some safety rules, stuff like that. Nothing too interesting with the box itself. When we open it up, first thing you see is we do have the pistol itself. Then we have the special edition holster that comes with the Grizzly model. A little note that says, keep your gun oiled or rust. And we've got what looks like a sales flyer, because they have a million different models and a whole bunch of different barrel lengths and all that kind of stuff. And then they talk about different types of ammunition. It was funny because earlier we were talking about all the new self-defense rounds in 410, and they actually talk about that. They even have an order sheet if you want to order some of the different barrel lengths like that. So that's there. That's that. Here's your ownership card and the actual owner's manual itself. So, and there's also an internal lock on this if you want to use it. It comes with a little tool in here. So it gives you directions on how to use that. So the tool for the lock, a couple little things, nothing too much. It explains the safety and some things like that. So let's go ahead and look at the gun itself. We'll put the box aside. So first we have the gun and the holster. Holster's pretty simple. It looks like a leather. It's got a high finish leather here with a rough matte finish to it, and it's got a little loop here, just made out of leather that loops over the hammer like so. Looks like if it wears out, you can just kind of tug that tighter to keep it in place. Pretty neat. Nothing too fancy. Just clip in the side. I guess it's gonna be more to the outside, unless you were left-handed, and you can wear it to the inside. But yeah, just a basic holster. I think more of something that looks nice with the gun and goes with the idea of it being a special edition more than it actually being something of too much use. I feel like if you were actually going to be out carrying this in your hip open, you'd want something more than this to keep it in there, because it's not the most secured thing ever. It kind of comes out. But it is a cool little thing. So, what's neat about the Bond Arms is their relatively simplicity aspects of the gun. When you look at it, there's not a whole lot to it. You know, we have this lever here, which is your takedown to reload it. When you look, it pops open and automatically ejects the rounds. Here's your safety. Red safety's on, off. Pull back to fire. It's a single action gun. Pretty simple to use. I will say this one is actually in 45 Colt, 410. So, you know, it's a hefty round. The 45 Colt is one of those rounds that people forget about. They forget about how powerful it really is. You know, up until the 44 mag came out, the 45 Colt was the largest, you know, handgun round that was out there that was commercially made. It's definitely has some stopping power to it. There's a lot of companies making really good rounds for it too. And the 410, which is, you know, a shotgun shell, very small shotgun shell, but the shotgun shell nonetheless in this configuration is great. You can use it for all kinds of things. You know, if you were going to go out and do, you know, as a traditional, like a snake gun or something like that, or you were going to use it with its little slugs. But part of the really cool 410 features we have nowadays is that with all the other companies coming out with 410 revolvers, you know, you have Taurus has them, Smith & Wesson, there was the Thunder 5, which was like the original gun that you ever saw that actually had 410. They're now making a whole bunch of different self-defense rounds. Whereas before, 410, you didn't have a lot of self-defense rounds. You had a lot of like small game hunting rounds and things like that for it, but you didn't have things that were necessarily made for self-defense. Now, if you go to Hornady, the big manufacturers are going to make different self-defense rounds. And what's really neat is they'll put different things in it. So they'll put like a small slug in the front that, you know, has like a jacketed, you know, bonded tip. And they'll put some, you know, double-aught or single-aught ball behind it, or bird shot behind it. Or there was somewhere I saw that always kind of looked like little skinny watch batteries that were all stacked in there. to get a different spread in it. So it's a pretty neat idea, to have these nowadays. So this being the Grizzly, it's more of a thought of like, you're out there in the woods and something to protect yourself from, animals or things like that. But if you did want this for a defense round, it's like personal defense, in a tactical situation, I guess it wouldn't be a bad gun to carry. You don't have to worry about it malfunctioning. It's going to work. It's simplistic. There's not a lot to it. The downside, though, it is hefty. It does weigh a lot. So if you were actually going to try to conceal this in your waistband and things like that, for how much weight you have for just the 2 rounds, kind of consider what you want. You could get maybe some smaller Glocks and things that would be, or the 365 or something like that would be similar in weight, but carry a lot more rounds. But if you really just wanted something that had two hefty rounds behind it, this is the way to go, and something that's going to work and be, easy to operate and not have to have a lot of training with. I will say, single action only. The trigger's okay. It's not bad. You do, like we just say, this single action you're going to have to pull back each time. And then to reload, it's really simple. You just push the lever down. You're gonna flip it up. You're probably gonna rotate it over like that. Drop your new cartridges in. If they stick, you can even extend it out farther. So it's pretty interesting. Be it that it is the Grizzly, it does have the special edition handles on there that have the bears. They'll say Bond arms. I guess some kind of cherry wood to it or something like that. They make a bunch of different nips you can get. They make I think it's like a polymer frame, some different things. So these guns are really, really adjustable and adaptable. You take that Allen out. If you were to take that Allen out right now, you could pop the barrel out, and they make a bunch of different barrels. So I think we were looking at the 3-inch barrel had multiple calibers. 389, 40, 45 gap, 45 ACP. It was more, even 410, 45. There was a bunch of different rounds they made for it. So, 10 millimeter, which is a hefty round too to have, 40 as well. So, all in all, I think it's a really versatile gun. It's an all-around gun. I think that if you're in the market for getting something that's a Derringer, I think this is a solid, well-built thing. I know that in the market right now, there's a lot of very cheap Derringers out there. I've had it in my hand before. This one feels real solid. The casting on here is real heavy. This metal here is machined versus this is cast, but it's cast really well. Some of the cheaper ones out there, the triggers are terribly hard to pull. The guns don't operate well. They don't seem to lock up tight, or if they do lock up tight, they're almost impossible to get open again. This thing has no play in it. It's super tight, and then on top of that, to get it open, it's not hard to get open. You press that lever down. So the design overall is really, really well. They put a lot of thought into it. It's American made. It does have some weight, but at the end of the day, really, when you are shooting a 45 ACP or a 410 out of it, you kind of going to want to have that extra weight with you to, maybe absorb some of that recoil. I will say the sights leave a little to be desired. They're kind of hard to use if you look at them. There's no color difference. That could be easily done with a marker or a paint pen or something if you had. But yet again, the whole, it's kind of hard to see. If we pull the hair back, you probably get a better view of it. But still, yet again, for an up close, defense kind of thing, yeah, it would do what it's going to do. So, overall, I'm impressed. I like the gun. I think it's good. If this is something you're in the market for, if this is something that you're looking for in this style of gun, great selection. I would say as far as Derringers that are out there right now, you probably, other than some really, really high end stuff that I'm not aware of, you probably are pretty on par to buy any of the models they have. So that's that. If you have any questions or concerns or anything about these, you feel free to email me. We can talk more about it. And if you're looking to buy one in the area, Dave's Guns and Gear, we can